loses traction, bro. Like, it just, as soon as it starts to hit boost, it just starts to spin like crazy. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great rest of your day, start your day, whatever time it may be. We're gonna fight through this wind noise. It's about to storm, so we got to get this video wrapped up because it's something that's very important, because a lot of you guys have been asking about the setup on the car currently. A lot of you guys that have 4.6 liter 2 valves, 5.4 liter 2 valves, or just a mod motor in general want to know what I'm running on my 1999 Mustang GT, and I got you guys. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, and also turn those post notifications. Again, I apologize for the wind noise. Every single time I go out to record a video, it's either windy as hell, hot as hell, or about to storm. It's just typical Houston fashion. Now, here is my 1999 Mustang GT. It's not pretty at all, but it sure is pretty fast and fun, man. This is definitely the sketchiest car that I've owned and driven so far, and it's a ball of fun, man. These light new Edge Mustangs, the SN95 chassis, is just enjoyable to drive with not that much horsepower, man. This car gets down, and I haven't been able to actually go full on crazy with this car yet because of the current fuel system situation, which I will go ahead and discuss in this video and give you guys some solutions on what you should do instead of what the previous owner did on this car. I've had to go ahead and make some minor tweaks. At this point, a lot of minor tweaks to this car, but finally got it running, and it's really enjoyable. This car made 589 wheel horsepower on the dyno, 105-degree day at only 6,000 RPM. This setup is good for 6,500 RPM plus, so this is a 600 plus wheel horsepower car all day. Honestly, probably a 650 wheel horsepower car, but we'll get there when we get there. Now, I will say this, you do not have to copy my setup. This is just what's on my car. You could definitely do this cheaper. You could do this in a more expensive manner. This is just what I have on my car, and so far I'm really enjoying it. So for the motor setup, this is actually a 5.4 liter 2 valve. This is a truck motor. This is a forged motor. This is fully forged. It has forged rods, pistons, a forged 5.4 crankshaft. It does have heads cam, as well as the Vic Jr intake manifold with the 6061 throttle body adapter. Now, this has Manley rods, Manley pistons. This is an 11-to-1 compression motor. It has obviously forged bottom end, crankshaft, and this car does have ported PI head, so it is a PI headed car. It does have a ported Vic Jr intake manifold as well as the throttle body. So this whole setup is pretty much port match, ready to go to turn a lot of RPMs and make a respectable amount of power with not that much boost. This car is on E85 as well, so it boogies, man. It boogies, and I cannot complain. Now, I do have a Procharger P1 SE1 head unit down here as well. It is a very tight squeeze because of the 5.4 liter 2 valve. Would I recommend doing this? If you have the motor, yes, but you can make similar power with just a 4.6 liter 2 valve, and you will have a lot more space in the engine bay, because I used to have a white 4.6 car and it was a lot more spacious and it did look a lot better under the engine bay. So keep that in mind. You don't need a 5.4 to make 600 wheel horsepower, 700 wheel horsepower. I know plenty of guys that are making 8, 9, 1,000 with a 4.6 liter 2 valve still with the ported PI heads. A lot of people think you need a, you know, trick flow head combo. You don't. Now, this car does have some custom grind bullet cams. These cams are actually spec'd for NA performance because this was an NA motor before the Procharger went on it. And I can tell you guys this right now, the power is up top. This car is a completely different animal, obviously leaving in boost. And once you hit over 5,000 RPM, it really does kick in. It's almost like the car has like a VTEC feel. I know that's not really the correct terminology, but as you guys saw in the clips, as soon as the car gets to 5,000 RPM, it's like it gets crazy. And honestly, I absolutely love it. A way different feel than my last white 4.6 liter 2-valve car, and honestly, it's a great feel. Now, as you guys can see here, this car does have a 15% Innovators West overdrive crank pull. If you guys can see down there, it is a tight squeeze in this engine bay, and I am running a 3.0 pulley. Now, unfortunately, I don't know the exact boost numbers this car is making, but because it only made 589 wheel horsepower at 6K RPM, I am assuming that this car right now is anywhere between, I'd say, 11 to 13 pounds of boost. I think on full kill mode, when this car is spinning at 6,500 RPM, the P1SC Procharger is going to tap out around 15 to 17 pounds of boost, and it will make over 600 wheel. Obviously, the heads cam motor combo we have right now is too much for this P1SC Procharger, but because it is a smaller trim head unit, it does have a lot, and I mean a lot, of mid-range power, so it does feel really nice. And ironically, I actually might just go ahead and upgrade the impeller just so I can get a little bit more horsepower, maybe like I'd say 100 more, but still keep that mid-range feel, because with a car like this, it being so light, and with the gear ratio and the transmission combo, it really does promote that mid-range, not the top end so much. So you do need to keep in mind when you are building a setup what you're looking for. Are you looking for a mid-range monster? Are you looking for a top end monster? I know I have the Vic Jr Intake manifold on here, so it's kind of ironic how I'm saying, you know, mid-range, not top end, but just from the feel of the car, it's nasty from the mid-range. I'm telling you guys this right now. Now, inside the car, again, I do apologize for the wind noise. It's getting crazy outside. This is, believe it or not, a stock 3650 5-speed transmission. Now, I do have a McLeod twin disc clutch. I thought it was a single disc, but it feels way too nice shifting, you know, quickly with this amount of power up top. So I know for a fact it's a twin disc. It's really light, it's really nice. It does not feel like a typical cable clutch, so that is a massive W. So if you guys are looking for a good clutch, McLeod twin disc, it's the way to go, man. That RXT is the real deal. Now, this car does have 355 gear ratios, and if you guys are boosted and you have a 3650 transmission and you guys are making anywhere between, I'd say, 400 to honestly 800 wheel horsepower, 355s are the way to go. It's going to give you that nice mid grunt, and the car is going to rock it out, and it's going to feel absolutely amazing. So I highly recommend you guys going ahead and rocking a 355 combo if you have the 3650. If you have a T56, you could probably get away with the 373s because it's a little bit longer transmission ratio, but for the 3650, that 355, it hits. Now, as far as the exhaust setup goes, we have some long tube headers here. These are very old. They look like BBKs. I'm honestly not even sure what brand they are down there, but they need to be replaced sooner than later, which I will be doing. Probably just put some BBKs on here because, you know, why not? It'll work. It does have an off-road X pipe. I'm unaware of the brand. It looks like an LAR Performance off-road X pipe, to be honest with you. And obviously, from the tone, it's literally just dumped. I just dumped it. That's the way I like running these 99 to 04 cars. I love the dumps. I don't really care for tailpipes. I know some people love the tailpipes, but I think the dumps, in my personal opinion, they sound amazing. Now, as far as the fuel system goes, here's where things kind of get pretty interesting here. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't like the fuel system on this car. I did not set this up. If I was the person to set this up, I wouldn't have done it. You guys can see here, we do have some fuel rails as well. These lines are not really recommended in my personal opinion. They're not rated for E85. Well, it works, but I've already noticed some issues. I have a 4 Innovations regulator back here, and this does have some DW 80-pound injectors. If you're gonna go with this style of injector, I recommend just going ahead and getting either 4 performance 80 pounds or cash out and get the ID 1050Xs. This setup needs the 1050Xs. This car also has a sump tank back here. Let me get down. It's got a sump tank back here, and it does have a Holley fuel pump that's external. That I don't know if you guys can see. You guys maybe can see it, but it is underneath the car over there. It's got a Holley fuel pump, and obviously we have the fuel filter right here. But it's a pretty decent setup. I need to go ahead and change this whole thing out. You guys can probably see that there's a lot of rust in the tank. This setup, believe it or not, started to lean out at 5,500 RPM. So it's okay, but it's definitely not rated for E85 as much as I would like. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace this whole setup with a 4 setup. I think I can get away with just a dual pump setup because all I need with this car is like 700 horsepower, and it's gonna run the times I want it to run. As it sits right now, it's a 10-second car for the quarter mile, 60 to 130 time. Shifting it, if I could shift it at 6K, because right now I only can shift it at 5,500, I'd say it's probably, the way it sits right now, it's probably a low 7, high 6, which is pretty decent for, you know, a 500 horsepower, you know, high 500 horsepower car. Better weather, it'll definitely get into the high 6s, but full kill mode with everything turned up, this car will definitely run a mid to low 5 at 700 horsepower, because this car is weighing in just around 3,250, and I still have a lot of weight reduction to do, man. This car has tubular suspension, it has a K-member, pretty much the whole 9 yards, and it's a pretty solid setup, man. It's very enjoyable to drive. It is pretty rock solid for a 2-valve. You don't really see too many 2-valves built up the way this car is built up, or honestly you don't really see too many 2-valves at all. When I had my white car, which was just a stock bottom end Vortec V1S trim blower, I never ran against a 2-valve that was, you know, at that level. Not even trying to be cocky, I never ran into one in person that was at that level. So if you have a setup like this, you have a unicorn build, no cap. All right, so it was about to start raining, but speaking of more mods, I just got something in the mail that's gonna be going on the 2-valve the next couple of days. Can't wait to go ahead and feel the driving experience with the new suspension. Now, as you guys can see here, I just got some new QA1 control arms. These should definitely go ahead and soften up the ride a little bit more, because right now, the bushings on mine are going out. One of them's already completely out, so these should be a huge improvement, and I cannot wait to see how the car feels from a dig and from a roll with these upgrades. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, and also turn those post notifications. Let me know down in the comment section right now, what do you guys think I should do next? And if you also have a high horsepower 2-valve, let me know down in the comment section your setup. I know a lot of people will definitely appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace.